The bear knew him first. Part 3. The sun. The gate kept. The fall should have killed me. It didn't. For a few seconds there was no world at all. No sky, no ground, no air, only blue light. It moved around me like water, but it didn't feel wet. It felt alive. It touched my skin, my hair, my mouth, my thoughts. It moved through me like it was searching for something it had misplaced a long time ago. I tried to scream, but there was no sound. I tried to reach for Adam, but I couldn't feel my hands. Then I heard him. Not above me, not behind me, everywhere. Emma. My name. He had said my name before, of course. In kitchens, in storms, in the car, standing barefoot near the ocean when the rain made him quiet and strange. But never like that. Never like a warrior speaking into death. Never like my name was the only thing keeping him from tearing the universe open with his bare hands. Emma. Then something hit me hard. Not the ground, a body, Adam's body, his arms closed around me in the blue dark, crushing me against him, protective, possessive, desperate, even falling through time, through memory, through whatever ancient thing had opened under that mountain. He still turned his body around mine like a shield. That was Adam. That was always Adam. The world could split open. The dead could rise. The mountain could roar. And his first instinct would still be to put himself between me and everything else. The blue light exploded. I hit cold earth. For a moment, I couldn't breathe. Then air rushed into my lungs so violently I coughed. Real air, cold air, wet air. I opened my eyes, and everything was wrong. The sky above me was not Florida sky. It wasn't that flat, storm-heavy gray I knew. It wasn't beach wind. It wasn't the smell of salt roads and warm rain and distant traffic. This air smelled like smoke, wood, wet grass, iron, something older than cities, something untouched. I pushed myself up slowly, and the first thing I saw was my hand. Not my sleeve, not my sweater, my hand, bare, dirty, shaking, then my arm. A cream wool sleeve covered it, tied at the wrist with dark leather cord. I froze. My breath stopped. I looked down. My sweater was gone. The one I had worn on the mountain, the one I had pulled tighter around myself when the snow started falling. Gone. My jeans were gone too. My boots, my modern clothes, everything that belonged to my life had disappeared. In their place was a long wool dress the color of old cream, heavier than anything I owned. A dark leather belt sat at my waist. A fur-lined cloak fell from my shoulders, white and gray, soft and warm and completely impossible. My feet were inside leather boots laced to my calves. My hair, which had been loose and tangled from the storm, now hung over one shoulder in a thick braid I had not braided myself. For a moment I just stared at myself. Then panic hit. No! The word came out small. I grabbed the fabric at my waist like I could tear the truth away with my hands. No, no, no. I wasn't in Florida. I wasn't in my century. I wasn't even dressed like myself anymore. The world hadn't just taken me somewhere else. It had dressed me for it. That scared me more than the fall, because clothes can be changed. But recognition means something has already decided where you belong. I staggered to my feet. The ground beneath me was soft with wet grass. A cold wind moved through hills that rolled endlessly beneath a pale sky. Far away, I could see water, dark and restless. Beyond it, cliffs. Not Florida cliffs, ancient cliffs, hard cliffs, the kind that looked like they had watched men die for 1,000 years and never bothered to remember their names. Adam! My voice broke. Nothing answered. The fear that moved through me then was sharp and immediate. Not fear of where I was, fear that I had landed here without him. I turned too fast and nearly fell. Adam! Something moved behind me. I spun around. He was there, 20 feet away, on one knee, one hand pressed into the grass, the axe beside him. For one terrible second he didn't move, and my heart stopped. Then his head lifted. His eyes burned blue, not softly, not beautifully, like lightning trapped inside a man. He saw me, and the whole expression on his face changed. The warrior vanished for one breath. Only the man remained. Relief hit him so hard I saw it in his body. He stood too quickly, almost violently, and crossed the distance between us in 3 strides. Then I was in his arms, not gently, not carefully. He pulled me against him like something inside him needed proof that I was real. His hand moved over the back of my head, my shoulders, my arms, checking, searching, making sure I was whole. I should have said something smart, something brave, something like, "I'm fine." But I wasn't fine. I wrapped my arms around his waist and held on, because the truth was, I didn't care what century we had fallen into. If Adam was there, I could breathe. His face lowered into my hair. For a long moment he didn't speak. Then, rough and low, "Emma." There it was again. My name. But this time, the world felt different when he said it, like my old life had finally caught up to this ancient nightmare and introduced me properly. Emma, not the woman from his memory, not the wife he failed to save, not the ghost Eric kept throwing between us like a weapon. Me. A regular woman from Florida who had fallen through a mountain and woken up in a Viking dress with a man who looked like he belonged to every war ever fought. I pulled back enough to look at him. "You said my name." His jaw tightened. "I know your name." "No," I whispered, "not like that." His eyes searched my face. Then his hand moved to my cheek, thumb brushing dirt from my skin. "You're here." It wasn't a question. It was something worse, a realization. I looked around us. "Where is here?" He didn't answer right away. That told me enough. I followed his gaze, the hills, the water, the cliffs, the ruined line of smoke rising far in the distance. Something inside him recognized this place, not fully, not cleanly, but enough. His shoulders changed, his breathing changed, like the modern world had been a coat he had worn too long, and this place had stripped it off him. Here he looked larger, not physically, something else. He didn't look like Adam standing in an ancient world. He looked like the ancient world had been waiting for him to come back. That frightened me, because I loved Adam, but I did not know if this place was going to give him back to me. The bear appeared over the hill without a sound. I didn't hear branches break. I didn't hear claws. I simply turned, and it was there, huge, scarred, one eye marked by that silver wound that made it look older than any animal had the right to be. It stopped at the crest of the hill and looked at Adam, then at me. The wind moved through its fur. Adam stepped half in front of me instantly. The bear noticed. It always noticed. Then it did something I still was not ready for. It lowered its head to me, not Adam, me, again. My fingers tightened on Adam's arm. Why does it keep doing that? Adam didn't look away from the bear. I don't know. But his voice told me he didn't like not knowing. The bear walked closer, slow, heavy, calm. It passed Adam. He let it. That alone told me something had changed. The bear came to me and stopped close enough that I could feel the heat of its breath against my hands. Then it touched its massive forehead lightly to my chest. Not hard, not animal, almost ceremonial. Something flashed behind my eyes. Blue light, fire, a woman screaming, a child crying, Adam's voice breaking on a name I still couldn't hear. I stumbled. Adam caught me, always. The bear stepped back, and then the horns sounded. One, then another, deep across the hills. Adam's head turned. The blue in his eyes sharpened. Not fear, readiness. A line of riders appeared on the ridge. Then another, then men on foot, shields, spears, dark cloaks, fur, iron. They came down the hill slowly, not charging, surrounding. The bear moved to my other side. Adam noticed. He said nothing, but he shifted his grip on the axe. I had seen Adam angry. I had seen him protective. I had seen ancient rage wake inside him under a mountain. But this was different. This was calm, controlled, terrifying. The kind of stillness that made violence feel inevitable. The riders stopped several yards away. Their horses breathed white clouds into the cold air. No one spoke. No one dared. At the front sat a young man on a black horse. Not a boy, A man, maybe 20, maybe older. It was hard to tell. His face was young, but his eyes were not. He had dark blonde hair tied back with leather. A scar cut through one eyebrow. He wore chainmail beneath a dark cloak, and at his side hung a sword that looked used. Not decorative, used. He looked at Adam like he had seen a ghost crawl out of a grave. Adam's whole body went rigid. The young man dismounted. Slowly. Every warrior behind him watched. He stepped forward. I saw it then. Not all at once, piece by piece, the shape of his eyes, the line of his jaw, the way he held himself like the world had hurt him early, and he had decided never to ask mercy from it again. He looked like Adam. Not exactly, but enough that my stomach went cold. Adam whispered one word, not my name, not Eirik, a name I didn't recognize. Leaf. The young man stopped. Something flickered across his face. Pain, then anger buried it. So you remember. Adam looked like he had been struck. The bear made a low sound beside me. Grief. Recognition. The sound moved through the men like wind through dead leaves. Adam took one step forward. Every weapon around us lifted. Spears, swords, axes. The young man raised one hand. The weapons stopped. Adam noticed. So did I. This young man commanded them. Not because they feared his title, because they trusted his strength. Adam stared at him. You were gone. Leif's face hardened. No. The word cut through the cold air. Adam's grip on the axe tightened. The gate took you. It did. Silence. My skin prickled. Leif's eyes moved to me for the first time, not with kindness, not with curiosity, with judgment. So this is her. Adam stepped fully in front of me, fast, instinctive. The movement made several warriors flinch. Leif saw it. His mouth tightened. You shield her the same way. Adam said nothing. Leif looked back at him. That was always the problem. I felt Adam change beside me, not rage, pain, deep, old. Leif stepped closer. My mother stood on the shore with me behind her. You were running toward us. Adam's face went pale under the dirt and blood. I remember. No, Leif said. You remember fire. You remember screaming. You remember losing. But you do not remember me. The words hit so hard even I felt them. Adam didn't move. Leif's voice lowered. I remember you. Adam's eyes burned brighter. You were a child. I was old enough to know my father was coming. The wind stopped. Leif's jaw trembled once, only once. Then he forced it still. I saw you fight through men like they were nothing. I saw you throw yourself toward us. I saw the bear leap into the dark. I saw the ground open. Adam's breathing changed, harder now, rougher, Leif continued. And then I saw you fail. No one moved, no one breathed. I wanted to say something, to defend Adam, to tell this young warrior that I had seen the memory too, that Adam had not abandoned them, that he had run toward them with everything inside him, that love had been the thing that broke him, not weakness. But I didn't, because this was not my wound to interrupt. Adam looked at his son, God. The word became real inside me so suddenly I almost had to sit down. Adam had a son, not a memory, not a ghost, not a story Eirik used to hurt him, a living son, standing in front of him with an army behind him and 20 years of pain in his eyes. Adam's voice came out broken. I tried. Leif laughed once. It was not a cruel laugh. It was worse, empty. You tried. Adam flinched. A man like him should not have been able to flinch from words, but he did. Leif looked at me again. And now the gate brings you another woman to stand behind. Adam moved before I could think. One step, only one. But every warrior around us reacted. The air snapped with danger. The bear roared, not loud, low. Enough. Adam stopped. Not because he feared them, because I put my hand on his arm. His muscle was hard as stone beneath my fingers. Adam. His eyes stayed on Leif, but I felt him hear me. I always felt when he heard me. Leif noticed that too. Something like bitterness moved across his face. She does it too. I looked at him. What? My mother. His voice dropped. She could stop him with one word. Adam closed his eyes. For 1 second, every part of him seemed to hurt. I understood then. This was not only about a lost son, this was about a son who had grown up with stories. A son who remembered a mother brave enough to stand between death and her child. A son who remembered a father powerful enough to make armies fall. And a final moment where neither had been enough. Leif looked past Adam toward me. My mother died because the gate opened through him. Adam's eyes snapped open. No, the word cracked like thunder. The horses shifted, men tightened grips on weapons, but Adam didn't look at them, only at his son. I did not open it. Leif's smile was cold. Eric said otherwise. That name changed the air. Adam's body went very still. I felt a chill before I heard the voice. Because I told him the truth. Eric walked out from between the riders. Of course he did. Still pale, still sharp, still carved from winter and judgment, but here he looked less like a ghost, and more like a man who had been carrying the same verdict for too long. His spear rested in one hand. His white hair moved in the wind. Leif did not turn when he appeared. That told me Eric had been with him, raised him, trained him, poisoned him, protected him, maybe all of those at once. Adam's voice became deadly quiet. You kept him. Eric looked at him. The gate kept him first. Adam's face changed. What does that mean? Eric's eyes moved to me. I hated when he looked at me. It always felt like he was reading a book I had not written yet. The blue light swallowed the woman and the child, he said. You saw that much. Adam's jaw clenched. The woman died. Eric nodded once. She did. Adam's eyes closed. Not long, only a second. But I saw what it cost him. Leif saw it too. Something flickered in his face, then vanished. Eric continued. The boy did not. Adam opened his eyes. Why? Eric's face hardened. Because the thing beneath the gate wanted him. The hills seemed to darken. Even the horses quieted. I stepped closer to Adam without thinking. The bear shifted closer to me. Eric watched it happen. The gate feeds on grief, he said. Your grief opened it. Hers fed it. The child was taken into it. Leif's face was stone, but his hand tightened around his sword. He came out years later, Eric said. Not dead, not whole, not untouched. Adam looked at his son. The protective instinct in his face was unbearable. He wanted to go to him. I could feel it. Every part of him wanted to cross that space and put his hands on his son's shoulders and check him the same way he had checked me after the fall. But Leif stood like a blade drawn against him. Eric's voice turned colder. I raised what the gate returned. Adam's eyes went to him. You taught him to hate me. I taught him to survive you. The words detonated. Adam moved. So did every warrior. The bear roared. Leif drew his sword. I stepped between them before I understood what I was doing. Adam grabbed my waist instantly and pulled me back. No. His voice was a command. Fear, love, protection, always. I turned on him. Stop pulling me away from the story. His eyes burned. This is not your fight. I looked at Leif, then at Eirik, then at the bear, then back at Adam. Yes, I said. It is. His jaw tightened. I lowered my voice. I am not her. Pain moved across his face. I know. No, I said. You still don't. The wind moved through my cloak. My cloak. This impossible Viking cloak the world had put on me while I was unconscious. I grabbed the edge of it. Look at me, Adam. He did. I woke up dressed for this world. The bear keeps bowing to me. The axe recognized me. The gate pulled me into the same story that destroyed you once. His breathing slowed. Just slightly. I don't know why, I said. But I know one thing. Leif watched me now. So did Eric. So did every warrior on that hill. I felt ridiculous for half a second. A Florida woman in a dress she never chose, standing between ancient men with swords, trying not to shake. But maybe that was courage, not the absence of fear, standing there anyway. I am not here to replace what you lost, I said. Adam's face changed. I am here because you are still alive. Silence. And so is he. Leif's expression flickered. Adam looked at him again, for the first time, not as a memory, not as guilt, as a man, as his son. Leif lifted his chin. Do not look at me like that. Adam's voice was rough. Like what? Like I am yours. Adam took one step forward. This time I didn't stop him, neither did the bear. Adam stopped several feet from Leif, close enough to reach, not close enough to threaten. Leif's sword remained raised. Adam looked at the blade, then at his son. I have no right to ask you for anything. Leif's face hardened. Good. I have no right to call myself your father. Something in Leif's jaw jumped. Adam continued. I was not there when you were afraid. The entire hillside went quiet. I was not there when you woke up in whatever darkness took you. I was not there when you came back. I was not there when Eric taught you how to hold a sword. Eric's expression shifted, just slightly. Adam's voice lowered. But I was running toward you. Leif's eyes flashed. That changes nothing. No, Adam said. It doesn't. That answer surprised him. It surprised me too. Adam looked down for a moment, then back at Leif. It does not give you back your mother. It does not give you back your childhood. It does not undo what the gate took. His hand opened. Empty. No axe, no threat. But I need you to know this once. Leif stared at him. Adam's voice broke. I did not choose the world over you. The pain on Leif's face was sudden and terrible. Adam stepped closer. I chose you. Leif's sword trembled. I was too late. The words landed differently than anything Eric had said. Not defense, not excuse. Confession. I was too late, Adam said again. And I have carried that without even knowing your name. Leif's eyes filled with something he hated. He blinked it back violently. Eric stepped forward. Careful. Adam did not look at him. Neither did Leif. For the first time, father and son were alone in a world full of men. Leif's voice came quieter. You don't know what it was like. Adam nodded. No. You don't know what came for me in the dark. No. You don't know what I had to become. Adam's eyes moved over him, the scar, the sword, the army behind him. I can see some of it. Leif laughed bitterly. You see nothing. Then he moved. Fast. So fast I barely followed it. His sword came up toward Adam's chest. Adam did not lift the axe. He did not step back. He did not defend himself. My scream caught in my throat. At the last second, Leif stopped the blade against Adam's chest. The tip pressed into leather. Not through, just enough. Every warrior around us froze. Adam looked down at the blade, then at his son. Leif's voice shook with rage. Fight me. Adam said nothing. Fight me, the bear growled. Eric watched with unreadable eyes. Adam's hands remained open. No. Leif's face twisted. Coward. Adam accepted the word like a punishment he deserved. Then Leif shoved him hard. Adam barely moved. That made Leif angrier. He struck again, not with the edge, with the flat of the sword across Adam's shoulder. The sound cracked through the valley. Adam did not move. Leif hit him again. Fight me! Adam stood there, taking it, every blow, every accusation, every year he had missed. I wanted to stop it. God, I wanted to stop it. But then I understood. This was not combat. This was a son asking if his father would hurt him back. And Adam was answering, no, again, no, again, no. Leif's breathing turned ragged. His next strike slowed, then stopped. The sword lowered. Adam's shoulder bled where the leather had split. He didn't look at it. He looked only at Leif. Leif whispered, why won't you fight? Adam's voice was almost gone. Because I already failed to protect you once. The sword fell from Leif's hand. It hit the grass. No one moved. Leif stared at Adam like he hated him, like he needed to hate him, like hatred had been the structure holding him upright for years, and Adam had just put his hands on it and refused to push back. Then the ground beneath us pulsed blue. The bear roared, not at Adam, not at Leif, at the earth. Eric turned sharply. No! The blue light split through the grass in a long, thin crack. The same sound rose from below, ancient, hungry, awake. Leif stepped back. For the first time I saw fear in his face. Not fear of Adam, not fear of battle, fear of memory. Adam saw it too. Everything in him changed instantly. Whatever had just happened between father and son vanished beneath something older and simpler: protection. He grabbed Leif and pulled him behind him. Leif shoved at him. "Let go!" Adam's voice hit like thunder. "Behind me!" Leif froze. So did everyone else. Because the command was not cruel, it was not control, it was instinct, father, warrior, protector. Leif stared at Adam's back. For 1 second his face looked painfully young, then the ground opened wider, blue fire rose, and from inside it came a voice, not in words, in my mind, in Adam's, in Leif's, in all of us. The son was kept, the father returned, the woman stands between, the gate remembers. Eric lifted his spear. "Shields!" The warriors moved instantly. Whatever they thought of Adam, whatever they thought of me, they knew Eric's command. Men formed a wall around the crack. The bear stood beside me. Adam looked back at Leif. "Stay with Emma." Leif's expression hardened automatically. "I don't take orders from you." Adam leaned closer. His blue eyes burned. "This is not about pride." Then his voice changed, lower, rougher, almost pleading. "Please." That word broke something, not in Leif, in me, because I had heard Adam command. I had heard him threaten. I had heard him say my name like a vow, but I had never heard him beg. Leif stared at him. Then slowly, almost unwillingly, he moved beside me. Adam turned toward the crack. Eric looked at him across the blue light. For once the judgment was gone from his face. Only urgency remained. "It followed you." Adam tightened his grip on the axe. "No." The blue light surged. Eric's eyes went to Leif, then to me, then back to Adam. "It followed all three of you." The bear roared again. The hill split open, and something climbed out. I cannot describe it properly. My mind refuses even now. It had the shape of antlers and bone, but no animal had ever worn a skull like that. It moved like smoke wrapped around a skeleton. Blue fire burned between its ribs. Its hands were too long. Its face had no eyes, but I felt it looking directly at us, at Adam, at Leif, at me. Leif's breath caught. I heard it. The creature turned toward him. Adam stepped in front of him instantly. The creature paused, then turned toward me. The bear stepped in front of me. The creature paused again. Eric whispered something in the old language. It sounded like a prayer spoken by a man who didn't believe prayers worked anymore. Adam lifted the axe. Blue light ran across the iron, the same way it had when he handed it to me. The creature tilted its head. Then, inside my mind, I heard the same sentence from the mountain. Love opened the gate. Love must close it. But this time there was more. Not his love, not hers, all of it. I looked at Adam, then at Leif, then at the bear, then at Eric. The truth came slowly, horribly, clearly. The gate had not opened because Adam loved too much. It opened because love had been turned into grief. Adam's grief, his wife's death, his son's fear, Eric's judgment, a whole kingdom's blame. The gate had fed on the place where love became pain, and now it wanted the same thing again. I stepped forward. Adam turned instantly. "No." One word. Always that word. But this time I shook my head. "Adam." His face went wild with fear. "Do not." I looked at Leif. He was staring at the creature, pale, frozen, trying not to look like the child who had once been swallowed by blue light. Then I looked back at Adam. "It doesn't want death." The creature moved closer. The warriors held the line, but barely. "It wants you to choose who to save." Adam's expression changed, because he understood the same trap, the same wound, the same impossible choice. Save the woman, save the son, save the kingdom, love or duty, again. The gate had brought him back to the exact shape of his first failure. Eric realized it too. His face went still. "No," he said quietly. For the first time, he sounded afraid. Adam looked at me, then at Leif, then at the men forming the shield wall. I saw him begin to break, not from fear of dying, from the old belief that he could only protect one thing at a time. I stepped closer and grabbed his face with both hands, just like I had imagined doing in every storm, just like I should have done sooner. Look at me. His eyes found mine, blue fire, pain, love. I am not here to be saved instead of them. His jaw tightened. I won't lose you. You won't. Leif stared at us. The creature drew closer. The shields began to crack under blue fire. I leaned closer to Adam. You don't have to choose love over duty. His breathing stopped. You have to stop believing they are enemies. For one heartbeat, nothing moved. Then Adam changed. I felt it before I saw it. The fear inside him did not disappear. It became something else. Not rage, not panic, purpose. He turned to Leif. Son. Leif froze. Adam held out his hand, not demanding, offering. Leif stared at it like it was more frightening than the monster. Adam said, I could not reach you then. His voice was steady now. But I am here now. Leif looked at the creature, then at Eirik, then at Adam. The boy inside the warrior looked out for 1 second. Only one. Then Leif took his father's hand. The moment their hands touched, blue light exploded around them. The creature screamed, not in pain, in recognition. The bear rose onto its hind legs and roared so loudly the horses bolted. Eirik drove his spear into the ground. Now! Adam pulled Leif beside him, not behind him, beside him, the same way he had finally stood beside me on the mountain. The difference mattered. Then he looked at me. I knew before he spoke. I stepped to his other side. The bear moved behind us. Eirik stared at us. Father, son, woman, bear. Not love against duty. Love as duty. Love as war. Love as the thing that refused to be turned into grief again. The creature lunged. Adam raised the axe. Leif raised his sword. I raised my empty hands because I had no weapon, and somehow that no longer made me feel powerless. Blue light burst from the ground beneath us, not swallowing, rising, answering. The creature struck. The world went white. When I could see again, I was on the ground. My ears rang. Smoke curled over the hill. Men were shouting. The crack was gone. The creature was gone. For one beautiful, impossible second, I thought it was over. Then I saw Adam on his knees, axe in the grass beside him, Leif beside him, both alive, both breathing, and between them a small wooden object, a toy, half burned, half rotted, a little carved bear. Leif stared at it. His face had gone white. Adam reached for it slowly. His hands shook. Your mother made that, he whispered. Leif looked at him. All the anger in his face faltered, not vanished, not healed, but faltered. Adam held the toy like it was made of bone and memory. I carried it for you. Leif's voice broke. You remember? Adam closed his eyes, and when he opened them, tears stood there. Not weakness, not collapse, truth. I remember everything. Leif stepped back like the words hurt him. Eirik approached slowly. For once, he did not look like law. He looked like a man realizing the sentence he had passed might have been wrong. Adam rose unsteadily. Leif rose too. They faced each other. Not father and son healed, not yet, not even close, but father and son standing in the same world at the same time. That was more than either had had yesterday. Then Leif said, If you remember everything. Adam waited. Leif picked up his sword. His voice hardened again, but something underneath it had changed. Then you remember the oath. Eirik's face sharpened. Adam went still. I looked between them. What oath? No one answered. That was answer enough. Leif looked toward the distant smoke beyond the hills. The gate did not close. Adam's hand tightened around the wooden bear. Leif's voice lowered. It moved. A horn sounded in the distance. Not from Leif's men. Farther, deeper, from the direction of the sea. Eirik turned toward it. For the first time since I had met him, he looked uncertain. Leif looked at Adam. They are coming. Adam's eyes burned blue again. Who? Leif's expression turned cold. The men who worship what took us. The bear growled. The sky darkened over the water. Ships appeared on the horizon, black sails, too many to count. Leif lifted his sword. Eirik lifted his spear. Adam stepped in front of me instantly, then stopped. Slowly, deliberately, he moved aside. Not behind me, not in front, beside me. My breath caught. He looked at me, the modern man, the ancient warrior, the protector, the father, all of him. Stay with me. I took his hand. I already did. The black sails came closer. The carved bear in Adam's hand began to glow blue. And somewhere deep beneath the earth, the gate laughed.